Who the hell is giving me Reddit links to look at Trump clips? Don't you know we use the Twitter, the Nazi app?
Haitians, and he came in, illegal Haitian migrants, taking over a beautiful place. It was so beautiful. Springfield, Ohio. I was there. I campaigned there a while ago. Springfield, it was so beautiful. Now it's just, what a place. Can you imagine you have this small little community, all of a sudden you have 20,000 illegals in your community. Nobody knows where they come from. I'm angry about young American girls being raped and sodomized and murdered by savage criminal aliens.
This is, you all, I know we've all been kind of desensitized for this, but this is like 20 times worse than it was in 2016. You all know that, right? Like, we have progressed from cartoonishly off-the-cuff, mask-off racism to a caricature of what, like, you would have a Hitler character type say in media. This is again, and you know, it's Apollo. Thank you for all you've done for me. You know, I touched the orb. I get it. Thank you. I've been calling the Republicans Nazis for a while now. I feel like I'm running, like, rhetorically. This is my job. I want people to think. I want to entertain, and I want you guys to think, and I want you to agree with my talking points. You're not going to agree with all of them, but I'd like to share how I feel about them, and I'd like you to agree with a lot of them. And usually that process involves me going over news or going over something at least and talking about, you know, engaging with the material and thinking of things to say or ways to sort of break open the subject. What do I say here? Genuinely, this isn't like a bit. I'm not doing a bit. This isn't facetious. This isn't rhetorical. What do I say here? It's just Hitler shit. That's it. It's like, it's literally that. But like, okay, that's it. But you've been saying, I have. And the reason I've been saying that is because even though the rhetoric has not up until this point been this pronounced, the underlying logic of the rhetoric has been Hitlerite. I've been beating this drum for years, and I was correct to. I have been vindicated. The underlying logic of the Republican Party has been fascistic. It has been Hitlerite. It has been like that for a while, for at least since 2020. You know, there were some holdovers in the first Trump administration, but at the very least since 2020, since you know, Trump lost, since Jan 6, that this has been like the underlying drive of GOP rhetoric, at least the majority of GOP rhetoric. And, you know, it has sort of reached a more frothingly exaggerated point. It's gotten louder. It's gotten more aggressive. The underlying logic now is the same as it was back in 2016. But, you know, what do I say about this? You can't even call them Nazis or Hitler shit because people say, oh, you can't say that because no one understands what the Nazis really were. Yeah. This was the number one lesson that we should have learned after World War II. The number one lesson that a lot of people tried to teach us, that a lot of people just weren't willing to learn, is that there was nothing categorically exceptional about the Nazis. The Nazis were exceptional in large part because of their industrialization of genocide. The Nazis were very, very, very bad, but everything that they believed was an extension of biases that existed not only in German society, but in broader Western society, and had for a long time. Like, they invented anti-Semitism. What happened in Germany wasn't the consequence of, like, uniquely evil ideas. It was commonly evil ideas exacerbated by material and historical circumstance, elevated by technological and social factors, post-industrial revolution. You know, a lot of history went into that. But the lesson we should have learned is that we still need to be on the lookout. That's the damn point. We still have to be on the lookout. You can't just go, oh, we defeated the Nazis. I mean, leaving aside Operation Paperclip and the fact that half the Nazis ended up working for NATO or NASA or whatever, like, the real lesson was that you still have to be on the lookout, that anything could be that. Anything, anybody under the right, or I guess wrong circumstances, could be that. It could have happened anywhere. I want to hear it again.
And illegal Haitians, and he came in, illegal Haitian migrants, taking over a beautiful place. It was so beautiful. Springfield, Ohio. I was there. I campaigned there a while ago. Springfield, it was so beautiful. Now it's just,
it was not beautiful.
What a place. Can you imagine you have this small little community, all of a sudden you have 20,000 illegals in your community. Nobody knows where they come from. I'm angry about young American girls being and sodomized and murdered by savage criminal aliens.
Do you think anybody who listens to this and agrees with it could be convinced via argument? Like, do you think their positions are based on an empirical disagreement with you? Like, there's a fact they think is true that isn't, and if you correct that fact with a simple Google search, they would go, oh, okay. Or like an argument or something. One of the most black-pilling things that I learned about the Nazis wasn't how they were when they were in power. It was how they were when they weren't in power. Nazi beliefs continued to be held and deeply believed by Germans who survived World War II until they died. A significant number of Germans in polls after the fall of the Third Reich would answer like, oh yeah, they were right, actually, so-and-so the Jews, so on. You know, they still believed all of it. The only reason things changed in Germany, and clearly they haven't changed enough, I mean, we've seen what's going on right now, but the only reason there was a change in Germany in terms of like demographics and their beliefs was because the younger generations of Germans got raised up on new curriculum. It seems like, for the most part, at least statistically speaking, if you're educated to hate, you just continue thinking that way until you die. Not for everyone, but for a lot of people. And the data on this doesn't lie. There's a lot of data to suggest it. Is this really helping Trump? I don't know if this is winning him new voters. I think it's just a reminder of how entrenched his current voter base is. You know, I don't think people are watching this on TV and they're going, oh, wow, these are some good talking points. If this stuff is compelling to you, you were probably already voting for Republicans or you're currently attending a Klan rally. And it's not like it's empirically, but like you're not going to convince them on anything. What if deliberate re-education for good? I'm going to be honest with you guys. The only reason that I don't support talking points about re-education is because I don't think it works. It has nothing to do with the ethics of the situation. I think if you're an actual bona fide Nazi, the idea of the government being like, you're going to watch Sesame Street for 6 months. If it could work, it could work. I don't actually think it can work. In concept, the forced Sesame Street, like sharing is caring. You have to watch all the episodes where there's like a black kid that goes on or something. You're getting like the Clockwork Orange treatment with your eyeballs being pinned open. You know, like if that could work, yeah, you're watching Mr. I could mods put this man in the, you know, Mr. Rogers timeout chamber. I don't actually think it works. I don't think that actually works, you know. I think you'd get high levels of Nazi recidivism on that. Too bad. It'd probably improve their lives too. You think Nazis are happy? You think Republicans are happy? Have you met Republicans? They're not happy people. They're fearful and anxious, and their children don't talk to them. Not kidding. There was a tweet I saw recently. I agree with it so much. It's always people in the center, i.e. the right, or the right, who are saying stuff like it's lame to lose friends over politics. First of all, dropping friends and family over politics is based in red-pilled, okay? You seen the shit Hitler over here just said? You f***ing kidding me? You'd really drop a friend just because they were Adolf Hitler? Yeah, I would actually. I think that's an excellent reason to lose a friend or a family member, you know? Well, I guess you don't lose the family member, you distance yourself from them, but you know what I mean. That's for one. But I think the reason for this, and I'm paraphrasing the tweet, I'd cite it if I could. The reason it's always right-leaning people saying this is because they know that life wouldn't be worth living without liberals. Liberals could easily go their lives without conservatives. In fact, they wish they would. You know, liberals who live in cities, they wish they could go their life without interacting with or seeing conservatives in any form. But conservatives depend on liberals. They're the better friends, the better people. The more educated people, on average, that's certainly the case. They produce the culture, the music, the art, the movies, the TV shows, the video games. Conservatives are leeches on sort of the cultural framework because conservatism is anathema to creative thinking. Again, listen to this shit. You think people are listening to this and then producing, like, defiant art? Come on. There's a reason why artists tend to be left-leaning. Not always, but, like, it's a pretty strong pattern. You know, it's a pretty... There's a reason why Donald Trump has to constantly, like, steal musicians' music for his rallies and then get threatened with lawsuits by those musicians, or have Kid Rock at the RNC. Meanwhile, at the DNC, Kamala Harris's team got every musician ever to represent every state. There's a reason for that. You know, conservatives can not live without their liberal buddies, and which is why they get insecure about the idea of people dropping ties over political affiliation. Liberals? I don't think so. Oh, thank you. Here we go. Poorly reasoned. Yeah, I agree with this so much. It's almost always conservatives saying this. I guess this person went private. The truth is, most libs could live fulfilled lives being friends only with other libs. It's conservatives, especially the reasonably educated ones, who desperately don't want to be siloed with one another. We all kind of know this. So true. There we go. We got the citation. H-bomb, do not make a video about me. Vosh has forgotten the lousy Austrian painter. I think it's hilarious, to like the point about conservatism in art, that the most famous conservative in human history got his start by being a bad artist. I do think that's very funny. Cinema, just like Ben Shapiro. A lot of conservative pundits are Hollywood dropouts. Hold on, he wasn't bad, just mid. I mean, he wasn't bad for like relative to you, maybe, but for the Vienna, what is it, Vienna Art College? No, it was boring and derivative. Ironically, the kind of art that Hitler painted was the kind of art that he would promote in his regime, because, like him, it was boring and derivative. I think they call this classicism, or neoclassicism. No, they don't. The like boring pseudo-realist, like all art must serve to glorify the political doctrine, that nonsense. It's like how the Soviet Union for a very brief time was a haven of really interesting art, and then Stalin cracked down on it, and the only paintings you could legally make were like paintings of Stalin staring into the distance stoically over a field of healthy wheat that he was supervising the growth of, you know? Authoritarians and art, man. You're conflating conservative and right-wing. They're synonyms. Trump isn't even a reactionary anymore. He's a fascist. Fascists are reactionary. Reactionary just describes like a model of political thought. It's not like a specific system of politics. Fascists are reactionary by definition. I don't know what a progressive fascist would look like. That would be quite interesting. I don't think it's possible. A tanky? Not really, no. Femboy Nazis? They're not progressive. Gay Hitler? Okay, you all know that being LGBT doesn't mean you're progressive, right? I can't tell how much you guys are joking. Like, progressive fascists, oh, like femboy Nazis? No, those people are just Nazis. Also, Hitler was gay. Yeah, exactly.